Welcome to ForexTV.com Forex Market Buzz. Today is Friday, December 28th. I'm Caitlin Sisney. In early afternoon trade, Euro dollar is trading at 147.10. Sterling dollar is trading at 199.25. Dollar yen is trading at 112.80. Taking a look at today's U.S. data releases, the annual unit sales rate for new homes fell 9% to 647,000 in November. It is the lowest level since 1995. Data for the previous 3 months were revised lower. Purchasers in the Chicago area report a rise in both new orders and backlog orders that point to surprisingly strong business activity in the months ahead. New orders rose to 58.4 in December versus November's 53.9, with backlog orders spiking from 60.7 versus 45.9. Joining me today is Joseph Trevisani from FX Seoul. Hello, Joseph. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Caitlin. How are you? Nice to be here.
The dollar dropped against the euro for a sixth day, the longest decline since October, after a U.S. government report showed sales of new homes fell to a 12-month low last month. Joseph, do you expect to see the dollar fall further against the euro today?
Not really today, no. I think we're probably actually done for the year in the movement in the euro. The two moves we've seen in the euro recently, the fall in the euro against the dollar and the recent rise, have both been pretty much technically driven. After the long run-up since August in the euro against the dollar, it was absolutely ripe for some profit-taking. That's what we saw. And the past week's move back up has been pretty much the reversal of that. These are both technical moves. I don't think they really give us much indication as to what's going to happen for the new year, though.
Now, with the pound hitting record lows against the euro and posting its biggest monthly drop in almost 5 years, how low can traders expect sterling to go?
Well, the sterling-euro, or the euro-sterling, is driven pretty exclusively by the interest rate differential between, and the view on the central bank interest rate policy between the EMU and the UK. The EMU and the ECB has made it very clear that they're not going to be cutting rates. In fact, I think one of the board members recently, Stark, said that if necessary, they'll raise rates. The British just lowered rates rather unexpectedly. This divergent policy is going to drive the euro, drive the sterling, especially against the euro, down. I would look at the sterling to easily get to 94 in the first month in January trading.
Now, as oil prices approach $98 a barrel, boosting Canada's export revenue, the Canadian dollar reached a more than 5-week high. What is your fundamental outlook for the Canadian dollar?
Yes, Caitlin, you're absolutely right on this one. Canada can easily be viewed as a proxy for the price of oil. The charts don't coincide perfectly, but as far as charts go, they're pretty good. With a lot of the turmoil returning to the political situation in the Middle East, even though Pakistan is pretty far from the oil fields, it nevertheless is going to boost the price of oil, which it has done, and that will, of course, keep the Canadian dollar buoyant. Without that price of oil, we saw a fall in the Canadian dollar after it topped out about a month and a half ago. I think we would probably continue with that particular fall in the value of the Canadian dollar, but all bets are off when the price of oil is as volatile as it is.
Okay, and finally, with overnight data from Japan supporting the yen and overall weakness in the dollar, we saw the greenback hit a low of 112.65 below the 113 level. Joseph, what is your short-term outlook for the dollar-yen?
The dollar-yen, I think, is going to probably trade between 108 and about 114 if we're looking out 6 months or so. I think the Japanese government is pretty happy with the dollar-yen around 110. The move we saw recently, particularly today and yesterday, was driven by the euro-yen, which took a pretty large hit after the assassination of Benazir Bhutto in Pakistan, not because there's any particular economic relevance to that, but there is certainly a great deal of geopolitical relevance. The crosses, as they are, tend to be averse to any type of turmoil in the world, especially when it is of that type. I think the dollar-yen is going to be pretty stable. It's going to depend largely on what transpires in the euro-yen, with the exception, of course, that I think the dollar probably will be regaining some strength into the new year, and that will, of course, support the dollar-yen.
Thank you so much for joining me, Joseph. That's all for today's edition of Forex Market Buzz. I'm Caitlin Sisney. Join us again later for PM Exchange right here on ForexTV.com.